Hi, it's Kelsey with Junctional Magic. Welcome back for the new moon of June. It's Lunar Illuminations time, where I'm going to be working or showing you what I've done in my Moon Journal's companion journal. This is a collab hosted by Gwen the Trash Witch and myself, Junctional Magic with Kelsey Jones. And we like to look at everything about the moon and anything celestial associated with it. That could be anything in the night sky. Lots of people are making their own moon journals. Check out the list of other people in this collab in the description box below, and Gwen's page to see what she's done. I'm also working on a variety of books if you haven't seen any of my other stuff, but this is my companion journal that deals with constellations. And I moved into constellations after looking at various things associated with the moon because I write sci-fi and world build, and I wanted to keep all this information somewhere where I could just grab a book or two and find what I was looking for. So this book has quite a bit of stuff on constellations. There's the Pleiades. I haven't gotten to that yet, but I'm sure that's next, just because, oh good grief. Once you start looking at one of these constellations, you think you can just chug right through them and be finished. No, that's impossible. There's way too much stuff to do. And then, if there's supposed to be an alien species associated with it, you need to find a picture of what it's supposed to look like. So that's what I did. I also added this fun little slide. It's not quite a file folder. It's more like a card. And it just shows different ciphers, how to set up coding systems to send secret codes. That's really cool. So I kept that just because I thought that might spark an idea. And that's what languages are. They're codes, they're systems. And I wanted to think about them in a different way every now and then. So this is a book full of lots of blank things that I can fill in and leave information. This is my storybook. The first journal, the Moon Journal, is my energy book. So this one is about things like Orion. And this is the star I had to cut out for another project. And I'm like, well, after being tortured with that, I'm just keeping it. But this is a night sky from the moon's surface that I painted with watercolor. It did not come out the way the lady who originally painted it intended. But hey, I'm dealing with it. It was such a large piece of watercolor paper that I cut it into two pieces. And I put my constellation for Arcturus up here. It's in the boots. That's Arcturus, the star. And it's in the booties, or the herdsman. And they call it also the ice cream cone. I don't know if you can see all that. But that's what's in the night sky. And Ursa Major points the handle. I don't know why I want to call it the panhandle. I guess it is a frying pan right here. Or a watering scoop. So yeah, that handle points at Arcturus. Panhandle. Oh my God. You'd think I would be talking clearly today since I slept so much last night. So I had my information from Wikipedia. Now this is a lot of detail. I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm just going to say basically the Arcturians look like this. They're supposed to be an advanced species that vibrates at a higher level, meaning they operate in a different dimension. They can change their frequency and their density to where they can take shape in our dimension. Yeah, oh, I just saw that this is crooked. Nothing I can do about that. I glued it on already. But this is what the Arcturians are supposed to look like. And when they change density, they're supposed to be a different texture. Someone said it was a gel-like jelly texture. Well, they're supposed to be 7 feet tall. Some can be shorter. They're supposed to be bluish. Some can be a different color. They're supposed to have smaller, all black eyes, kind of large almond shapes, but not look like the communion mask eyes, you know, for that story, the communion with the aliens. Then some people say that the eyes have a pupil and whites. So it just depends on where you get your information from. This information came from a 10-minute video on the Gaia channel. I really like that channel for all this kind of new agey, spacey stuff. You know, the woo-woo stuff. So I just stuck with it, and I made a list. I pretty much went through and wrote down everything they said, and then went back and typed it up. And these beings are supposed to live 400 to 500 years. Some people say 1,000 years. Their star is 36 light years away. It is the 4th brightest star in the northern hemisphere. They have bluish warm skin, 5 fingers and toes, very narrow, small nose and mouth. See? Narrow, small nose and mouth. They communicate with their minds telepathically in a non-threatening way because they are at a higher vibration. They don't have the kind of feelings and emotions we have. And they endeavor to be logical and humanitarian, even though that's not the word I read. I don't remember right off the bat what I read. They are masters of integrating spirituality and technology, and they are communicators who are ambassadors and guides to the stars, not just for Earth, but for other lower density beings. They operate on pure logic. That's just some of this random stuff. They have very colorful auras, so when you see them, there's this bright light all around them. And that could explain some of the rock art we see in different cultures where they show. It looks like there's a being coming through and there's an aura all around them. What else? Their family groups. Okay, they only the Arcturians who have the highest vibrations are allowed to have children. And having a child means that you have a pouch, kind of like a kangaroo. And a small copy, a clone of you, ends up in that pouch and slowly grows until it's large enough to come out, and then your soul and consciousness goes into that copy, and your old body dies because it's soulless. So that's how they reproduce. I thought that was fun. There are also 3 major species associated with the Arcturians. They're Deslintipex, I do not know how to say that, Devonians, and the Corindians. That common origin connects them telepathically and strongly. It seems like they're all part of one connected mind. So, yeah, and that makes sense when you look at all the other stuff that says we are just a part of the whole here for experience to gather information through our 5 senses, because we are antenna. And their beings are antenna, but inside these bodies, they do take form and shape so we can see them. Supposedly. I've never seen one. So okay, that's fun. This here just kind of summarizes that the Arcturians are in the Bootes constellation. Their agenda is healing and guiding. Their lifespan, it says, is 1,000 years versus the other source. And then they are great healers and diplomats. So there's the Arcturian constellation in beings. And that's going to go right in here. I was thinking I'd leave it out in the front, but nah, might as well put it in here. Okay, and then we move on to, there's Hathor. We're not going over Hathor. We are getting back to my Bigfoot books I've read. And this takes so long to find the covers because it's almost impossible to find anything in my orders on Amazon. So I added some more here. Here's another Dave Paulides book, The Hoopa. And I think spell check changed that to hoopla in my video last time. So I think I saw hoopla and I thought that's not right. So yeah, it's hoopa. So here, this is another book about Native American interviews given to Dave. Same with Tribal Bigfoot. So I highly recommend both of those. Bigfoot Terror in the Woods. This is a Sheehan book. This is volume 4. He must have 8 or 9 of these, and they're Bigfoot stories. And he's a really interesting storyteller. He's on YouTube. People interview him, and he'll just sit there and tell you stories. So you can find this stuff. All of these books, their authors have been on YouTube, interviewed, and you can even find their own YouTube channels where they tell you lots of information. Now, let me move Bigfoot over. This book is written by a Border Patrol agent. Now, I was just amazed. This was so fascinating to read. First of all, I never thought the Border Patrol really had that interesting of a job or had that many duties, but this book changes everything. If you know a man who likes to read interesting stuff with some ghost stories, this is all about, say, Border Patrol, this would be a great book for him. This man talks about how they go out at night and work in absolute darkness along the border in the desert. The moonlight is all they have. They have a flashlight, but they don't use it until they need to because they're looking for people who are sneaking across the border. And in doing this, they often found groups of people terrified because they've encountered ghosts or something was throwing giant rocks at them or chasing them, all sorts of things. Maybe they saw two glowing eyes. That's where this Bigfoot information comes in. He talks about that. This is a really good book. Out on Foot by Rocky Elmore. Bigfoot, Terror in the Woods, W.J. Sheehan, and the Hoopa Project, Bigfoot Encounters in California by David Paulides. He says buy these books from his website, the Can-Am Project, because his books are cheaper there from him and autographed. When you buy them on Amazon, you're buying them from another person who's selling them at a much higher price, crazy prices if you look. Now, here's some more books I've gone through. Now, I don't have these, but I've watched him so much I don't need to read them. Thunker, he's on YouTube. Look him up. He's got one of the best channels to watch. He'll go through and debunk a video just like that, or he'll tell you how the only thing that explains this is that it's Bigfoot. Okay? It's how to find and film Bigfoot and solve two of our greatest mysteries, proportional DNA. Here we have John Bindernagel, the discovery of the Sasquatch. Now he's Canadian, he's passed away. His book is like taxonomy, and he actually puts Bigfoot in there with everything else in North America or around the world, but I'm sure, I can't remember if that's just North America or what, but that's a really good book. It's on Amazon, you can buy a copy. Truth Denied, the Sasquatch DNA Study by Scott Carpenter. I have not read this one, but I've heard this over and over and over through interviews. All the information about DNA analysis of hair, scat, maybe a piece of hide, something. And they've had all this stuff analyzed, and basically they were laughed at to shut this down. Scott Carpenter also wrote The Nephilim Among Us. Now, he's got this book out where he shows pictures that he's taken with cameras. One of the things about Bigfoot and pictures is that if they think there's a camera pointing at them, they can sense it. Maybe they can see that wavelength of energy, and we can't see it, so they avoid it. But he would take and put his phone facing backwards behind him, and as he's walking away, we get all these pictures behind him, and he would get these faces. So this was very interesting, and he goes through talking. He's very Christian, and he goes through talking about how these are demons. And that's okay. I don't care. I just want to know what he learned. So, then we have the UFO Bigfoot Connection by J. La Tulippe, T-U-L-I-P-P-E. Now, this is scientific about how UFOs are scientific and connected to Bigfoot. Most of these books, this book, these two, these three, this one was from an interview, and this one and this one are all from Dave Paulides' channel. He has the Bigfoot 101 series, and you can go in and watch all 20 episodes, take the quiz, and send him the quiz. He will grade it, and if you make 80% or better on the quiz, you will get a Bigfoot 101 patch for your jacket. And I got one. I think I've said that already. So yeah, that's fun. And lastly, I had 2 book covers from books I want to read. Space and Aliens. I've got glue on that. And The Paranormal Ranger. This is a Navajo investigator's info. And this is what a woman has written about Indians who've lived in the past through all of extraterrestrial encounters of every type to the present, and us going to space. So I'm interested in that. There's another book, I cannot remember the guy's name. He is the guy they modeled Mulder after on X-Files. He wrote books and he talks about it, all this stuff all the time, and he says everything about Bigfoot and UFOs is all interdimensional. I think that's really cool. I cannot find the book to give you a copy of the cover for reference, but I'm sticking with this. This was a lot of work to find all of these. And if you have a question about one of them, just ask me. I might have an answer. If not, I can tell you what to go read. But I will try to remember to go down and list all of these books in the description box below so you can find them. And if you're lucky, you can get a used copy. That's normally what I buy, is used books. See you on the full moon.